Morning, everybody, as we're reading through Leviticus 24 to 25, and I apologize that this is coming a bit late in the day. It's been one of those weeks that I just fell behind with a lot of things. Quite often you have to, there's a prerequisite before you can do other things. You know that if you've gone through any kind of education, you may want to take a certain course, but there could be 2 or 3 prerequisites before you can take that course, and it's because those prerequisites give you the foundation to establish what the course is that you want to take. And the same is true for relationships and such. Before you have a marriage, you have to have a courtship or an engagement or something where the marriage is based on a relationship. It's not just a thing of convenience. So we find here, we're going through the law, and there's some things that happen in today's reading that give you pause to think. And as we look at this law, we realize that without the law, we would not have a context for God's mercy and compassion. And so we see here that he establishes a law, but quite often our Father will cover the law so it's not applied with mercy and compassion. And we call it grace. And it is you have to have a baseline. You've got to have a baseline to understand the context of, like, if they're like the law in Canada establishes a baseline of what is good behavior, and then you can have bad behavior and you can have exemplary behavior. The baseline with the Israelites was the law, but the thing is that God knew that they couldn't live the law, and so people would scratch their heads and say, well, why give them a law that they can't live? Well, they could have lived that law before the fall. Adam could live that law before the fall, but with the fall, it took away that capacity to live that law. And so it became a broken thing, but it didn't take away from the fact that the law reflects Father's heart, and Father's heart hasn't changed. It doesn't matter what our behavior is, so he's not going to lower the standard of what his heart is to meet our inability to live that law. So he establishes the offerings and such to make up for that. But he also does things with mercy and grace. And Father's heart is always that mercy is greater than justice. Mercy is greater than justice. That's how he functions. That's who he is. Mercy is greater than justice, and he is a just God for sure. Just look at the law and you can see what the sense of justice is. So mercy is greater than justice. We have been created in his image, and quite often we cry for blood. We want justice, and it's we find it hard to move into that place because we have a law and we think everybody needs to apply to that law. But yet he tells us to have compassion. He tells us to love our enemy. He tells us to walk that extra mile. This is his heart. His heart is always where mercy is greater than justice. And we see that because while we were yet sinners, Jesus died for us. And so we see that we deserve death according to the law, but we receive life according to his mercy, according to his grace, according to his compassion. And so when we see people getting on our nerves, when we see things that aren't just, uh, his heart is for us to reflect him and to show mercy and grace and compassion for people. Yeah, that's a long way around, isn't it? It's not that the law doesn't have any value, it has great value. It reveals Father's heart to us. But we also must recognize that the law, that who he is a God of mercy, and that is greater than the law. So you guys be blessed, be encouraged. Let's try to live that today. If you can figure out what I just said, God bless.